afternoon. This is the knitting news for the 49th week of 2025, which can only mean one thing. Christmas is getting a bit closer. There was no knitting on Thursday. I wasn't well enough and didn't want to give anybody else this. Well, actually it's bronchitis. And it's well over a week now since I started feeling poorly, and I'm nowhere near 100%, but you don't really need to know about that. Much to say, there's no knitting news as such as knitting news of things that people have been making. We do have a chat and we do share photographs of things we've made, but there's nothing been on there this week to show you. But I do have some things to show you. The best thing about being poorly was sitting in bed in the afternoon. I must say, I was, you know, when it affects your brain and you can't really be bothered doing your knitting either, I was like that. So I didn't do so much until the weekend, this just a couple of days ago. But the best thing was the quilt. I told you we bought a new quilt, and it's filled with sheep's wool, which is kind of spread out and then quilted through, so it keeps its shape, it doesn't crumple up, it doesn't get lumpy in some places and empty in other places. I don't get too hot, but it is just comfortably cosy, just the right temperature, because it does breathe. I think it must, with it being organic, sort of being non-synthetic, I think it's much better. Though the one we had was feathers, and I used to get too hot in that. But this one's, I mean, when you're in the shop they say, oh, your husband will feel warm enough and you won't feel too hot because you won't overheat, because it sort of it'll regulate to your temperature. And you think, yes, okay, whatever you say, I'm going to buy it anyway because I like sheep. But it's true. It's very comfortable. So when I did get to feeling a little bit better, I did some more videoing of the cardigan that I have finished, which is Delilah's Christmas cardigan. So I went with red buttons to make it more Christmassy, and that's my lettering, which is really rather big, and I had to redo some. All my S's didn't match. When I wrote first, it didn't. Oh, look at that, it's got light shining through it. When I wrote first, I wrote the word and it just looked dreadful. Delilah's name is kind of conducive to doing joined up writing. It's got a nice about it. But Christmas was less so. And then I did tweak and mess about with it and finished off leaving some yarn on when I pulled the crochet hook off, and then tidying up and sewing the ends in with a darning needle. So I've shown you some of that. I've videoed some. We'll just have to see what the video's like because I haven't looked through it again. This pen should wash out. Oops, I'm getting a bit big there. My S finishes there. That's it. That's the H. If it doesn't disappear on its own, it should wash out. So where's the S? There's the S. That's right.
Sounds right windy.
Hmm?
Sounds right windy out there.
Hmm. I'm on my last digit, hopefully. If I wrap it round too many times, it gets a bit twisted. £1,000 a night, this hotel. I'm watching Hannah Ricketts, and she does unbiased hotel reviews that they don't know she's going there. At the moment she's doing 5-star hotels around London, and also sort of Christmas shopping round, you know, the big stores, Selfridges, Liberties, Harrods, and then smaller places as well. It's a really good channel. I think these hotels that are hundreds and over 1,000 for a night. I mean, this is some really nice room, but there's no justification for that. And do you know they even charge extra for the breakfast? It's like if you pay anything like hundreds, you should be given your breakfast. And if you get if you have a meal delivered to your room, you have to pay a tray service. Does that look like a 5? More or less. I just wanted it to go up a bit at the end. And then when I pull, I don't know what I've done with my needle now. When I find my needle, I can, so I just pull the last loop big and then cut my yarn and pull that through, and then I can do it by hand. I think that two's not as good as that two. What do we think?
I think it's good.
I might tweak that too. So I was stuck on the sofa then, and really my brain's not been working very well, and I've had absolutely no, what do you call it, energy? No energy whatsoever. So I filmed over my knee instead of setting up. But I think you can see what I was trying to show you. And if you don't do much sort of in the way of garment knitting and pieced garments, I did a little bit of video of sewing the button band on as well. together. Very pleased with it. So she'll be getting this tomorrow because I'm going to look after her again tomorrow. And so that's that one. So I was on a bit of a roll because yesterday was Sunday and I thought, well, no, but there's nothing I have to do on a Sunday. Oops, sorry. So I decided to get Halu out, and I showed you, didn't I show you last week how close to the end it was? It's still not quite, it's tantalisingly close to finished, but not quite finished. So here's Halu, and I may be wearing Halu next week because I'm on the rib. So my sleeves are different colours. I'm sure there was a front and a back to this, but it doesn't look much different. It does V at the back as well as the front. But if I fathom out which way around that is, yeah, I think it's that way. So I'll always know that the pink one's on the left because the other one's green. Because when I was knitting through this gradient yarn, as you can see, there was a bold line there. I'll probably just wear it. Well, I will wear it. It probably won't bother me, but if it does, I might do some sort of visible mending in pink, like pink flowers around that hard line, if the hard line bothers me, because I haven't tried it on or worn it yet. I shall have to see. But I must say that any little flaws in hand-knitted garments, they don't bother me. I think when somebody's looking at that garment, they're not looking at that little flaw. So it's got nice little bobbles. So this is a Caitlin Hunter pattern called Halu. Oh, well, I think that's how you say it. H-A-L-U. That's how I'd say it. The bobbles are quite fun, actually, because some bobbles can be a bit of a nuisance, can't they? So I love the colours of that. And it's dundaga wool, which is pure wool. It's a kind of woolen spun, I would say. It's not plied either. If I can show you how that looks. It's not plied, is it? Now, I've had a couple of breaks, but so long as you're not pulling too hard, it's not a problem. And it's Latvian wool, and it is rinsed in a mountain lake. Remember that. Right then. I am drinking summer berries. It's okay. At the moment, warm and wet is what I need to drink. So, I don't think I showed you this. This is like a throwback to Halloween. Can you tell what it is? It's for the cat. And no, she wouldn't put it on. But she did come from our local cat rescue, and they've made a calendar up, and I mean, I think there's 6 cats on every month, but Daisy's on, she's one of the Miss Julys, so she's on July. The other day, the only little outing I've had is to a couple of shops in the town, and we went to, I shouted that, didn't I? I feel like I'm a bit Boys, which is B-O-Y-E-S. It's a kind of bit of everything shop. Really quite handy. We had one that was sort of a little drive away in the next town that me and my husband would quite enjoy to go to, because there was things that interested him and I, and we'd go for a coffee or something like that as well. So it was a little trip out. But now we've got one in our town, and we've never had one all the time I've lived here. So we went to Boys and had a look around. So what they have is, they have, let's see, they have all your toiletries, they have fishing tackle, they have a craft section with fabrics, yarns and knitting needles, and this was the knitting needle display. I was really quite impressed, and so they had knit prosings, which I really like. I like the texture of them, and it's nice that they're colour coded. They also had the little circular sock needles that have got one end longer than the other. Not that I knit many socks or use those needles, but I did have a mind of, you know, if I did need any needles, they've got a better supply there than well, we do have a local knitting shop, but I'm not quite sure what they've got in, because I don't go there, because I don't need any wool. Anyway, so that was an interesting little trip out. They also sell toiletries and chocolates and all your bits like that for your Christmas holidays, and own cleaning products, and it's they're mostly at really good prices. There's a good choice, and the price is keen as well, so it's kind of worth a trip. And then there was the Christmas decorations up in the town. And there was Santa's grotto, and we did see an elf, and she was on her iPad getting organised. So that was the town trip, and then we came back and I did that jumper. And I do feel there was something else that I wanted to tell you about. I didn't go to the Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers, because I wasn't well enough to be comfortable enough. Hence the lying about in bed in the afternoons was because I wasn't comfortable just sitting. So when I finished that, I've got, oh yes, what we did buy when we went in the town was, we have word from Santa that she's getting a little play kitchen. So we thought we would buy a toaster kettle and coffee machine set through Santa, and that should arrive on Christmas Day for her. And also between now, I've got an agreement with him that I can make some crocheted vegetables and fruit on, and actually there's a really good free pattern for a crochet burger, which is all like the top, the bottom, and then your burger and your piece of bacon or whatever, and a piece of lettuce and a tomato. And then I thought I might make some biscuits and donuts and things and just help Santa out a bit. So she'll have things to play with in the kitchen. So that's the plan. Also, I have this that I was very proud of myself when I spun this. Now, I have done quite a bit of spinning this year so far. I might do a little bit before the year end, but it won't be a great deal, will it? This is Adelaide Walker, Blueface Leicester and Merino. It's only 25 grams, but I managed to get 135 metres. I have shown you previously. I know somebody who's just the perfect colours for. Somebody who should watch every video from beginning to end but doesn't. And I might be able to crack on and make like a cowl, like a lace cowl, because I love doing the lace stitches. But I think just a simple cowl might be nice, and there might be enough for something like that. But I need to work that out, so I don't know quite what I'm doing with it, but you should see it. If I do, you will see it. I am wearing a very practical jumper that's very warm because it's made with, it's alpaca, Toft alpaca, that was what I was trying to think of the name, Toft alpaca. And it's got raglan shapings, and it's Tunisian crochet. And actually I think it's lovely and warm, but I think Tunisian crochet has a nice flexibility to it. I don't feel as restricted as I might in something that's quite so close fitting that was just knitted. I think it's got a bit more give in it. Anyway, the pattern was written by Neil at Block Magazine, and it's not been in the magazine. It actually didn't take too long. Anyway, I think I'm done now. So more news, maybe next week. What are you doing?
Oh, went to Oldham, got some yarn.